Some of you might remember a live stream I did a while back where I mentioned a story featuring a man who demanded that his ex-wife and her attorney engage in trial by combat. Well, it seems that that story has blossomed out a little bit, so let's take a look at the article. Let's do this video in Tim Pool style. Psych evaluation ordered for man who sought trial by combat. Harlan, Iowa, AP reports. An Iowa judge has ordered a psychological evaluation of a Kansas man who asked the judge to let him engage in a sword fight with his ex-wife and her attorney so that he can, quote, rend their souls from their body. David Ostrom, 40, of Paola, Kansas, said in a January 3rd court filing that his former wife, Bridget Ostrom, 38, of Harlan, Iowa, and her attorney, Matthew Hudson, had, quote, destroyed him legally. The Ostroms have been embroiled in disputes over custody and visitation issues and property tax payments. The judge had the power to let the parties, quote, resolve their disputes on the field of battle legally, David Ostrom said, adding in his filing that trial by combat has, quote, never been explicitly banned or restricted as a right in the United States. Ostrom was also quoted as saying, I think I've met Mr. Hudson's absurdity with my own absurdity, adding that his former wife could choose her attorney to act as her champion. Bridget Ostrom subsequently asked the judge to suspend David Ostrom's visitation rights and order him to undergo an evaluation. Judge Craig Dredgemeyer granted both of her requests last week. This conduct is concerning. The content of the messages sent through email by David over the past few months is disturbing. David's motion for trial by combat is disturbing. His reasons for filing the motion in order to get publicity is disturbing. Man, quite the vocabulary this judge has. That was a quote from Judge Craig Dredgemeyer. This guy's giving me some serious Dwight Schrute vibes. I can't exactly pin down why, but he's coming in hot with that Dwight Schrute energy. And next, we have the story of a Tennessee man who is sitting on almost 18,000 bottles of hand sanitizer, and he's saying he's doing a public service. Turns out Amazon and eBay did not agree with this, and they have shut down his account. Big business always having to shut down the little guy, am I right, everybody? As far as simple questions of morality go, if he was hoarding medical supplies, I would probably think that there was a questionably immoral aspect of this, but I don't really think hand sanitizer is as important as people are making it out to be. It says here in the Market Watch article, brothers Matt and Noah Calvin admit in a New York Times interview that they bought up all of the hand sanitizer and antibacterial wipes that they could find across Tennessee and Kentucky after the first U.S. casualty was reported on March 1st, with the intent to resell them at a profit as public panic increased. It was crazy money. Thankfully they had some sanitizer, am I right? It was crazy money, Matt Calvin reportedly told the New York Times, revealing that his first 300 bottles of hand sanitizer sold out between $8 and $70 a piece almost immediately. He also sold 2,050 packs of face masks on eBay for $40 to $50, sometimes higher. But Amazon pulled his items in thousands of other listings for hand sanitizers, masks, and wipes, the Times noted, no doubt after being contacted by the New York Times. That's how they do business if you haven't picked that up by now. To combat price gouging. They cared so much about that during the wildfire, right? They cared so much about people getting their rent doubled that, they didn't say anything, actually. They just let the people suffer. Imagine that. eBay soon followed their lead, going as far as to ban all U.S. sales of face masks and hand sanitizer on its platform, making sure people can buy from a more trusted source, like a factory from China. So now the Colvin brothers have a garage filled with 17,700 bottles of sanitizer, with venues for selling them closed off, even as millions of their fellow Americans are frustrated in their attempts to get their hands on such items, while hospitals have resorted to rationing face masks as supplies have dwindled. You can see the angle that this article is approaching this from, the outrage, as if they're any better. Colvin reportedly said he doesn't want to become infamous for hoarding. If I can make a slight profit, he says, that's fine. But I'm not looking to be in a situation where I make the front page of the news for being the guy who hoarded 20,000 bottles of sanitizer and that I'm selling them for 20 times what they cost me. Well, I hate to break this to you, Colvin, Mr. Colvin rather, but that seems to be exactly what this outlet and other outlets have in mind. They're going to use your likeness, your face, and the outrage that they are able to drum up from it in order to drive a few clicks. See, that's the real morality question here. You see, the people who are outraged writing this article and the articles like it, they're no better. In the end, they're happy that they have something to report on. They don't actually care about any of this. If they did, they wouldn't be going after this guy and his brother. Comparing this to concert tickets, right? Because I'm sure some of you have ran into this, where you would try to go to a concert and the tickets would sell out, and immediately those tickets would be up on like eBay for like 10 times what they actually cost. Concert tickets are a bit more limited than hand sanitizer, and I also don't really think it matters all that much. If you can wash your hands with soap, if you have soap back at home, you don't really need sanitizer. It's good to have, but just be mindful of your surroundings. Just, if you see something bad, just don't grab it. I know that's easier said than done, but that's what we've got. I'm still seeing toilet paper on eBay at some pretty hilarious prices. It seems like a lot of the ones that were priced really high are no longer around, so maybe those got taken down. But even right now, you can see ultra plush bath tissue quilted Northern 48 double rolls toilet paper going for $40. Now, fortunately for myself, I don't go through TP all that often, and I had some in reserve. I had like 4 packs of 4 cheap TP that I just had. But even when I was at the store, I thought to myself, while the TP was still there, I've seen the reaction on social media. I've seen how people are just buying out tons of it. I should get some of this now while it's still there, and I'm really glad I did, because I should be set for like a year, and I only had to spend like $10. Keep in mind, folks, that when you're dealing with situations like this, hysteria, shortages, that it's not so much the thing causing the hysteria you have to worry about, but rather the effect from it. Sometimes you have to prepare for scarcity. You have to prepare for human beings being in panic mode. Public figures are reacting in interesting ways. Here's Jonathan Greenblatt from the ADL. I probably can't even read this out loud without activating some sort of algorithm. This has been the line that they have been speaking. The journalists, the outrage police, the hall monitors out there. This is what they've been telling us. You can't call it by its name because it's a mean word to use. Apparently more outraged about perceived societal slights than they are about, I don't know, an actual pandemic. Can you imagine if any of these people tried to be positive, to use their energy in a way that was productive and constructive and helped people instead of pointing the finger and shaking it ever so vigorously? Can you imagine if all of these people, all of these cynical skeptics, did something productive to help anyone else besides inflate their own ego? When it's the Chinese government, you know what they do? They go to Alphabet, Google, YouTube, whatever. They go to this company and say, hey, I need you to find this person who's spreading misinformation. And then that person magically disappears. Really strange. Where is Chen Kashi, by the way? It's been over 40 days. Still haven't heard from him. I heard that he was in quarantine. We'd see him shortly. Still no sign of him. And it appears, at least to me, that Google helped the Chinese government not only find Chen Kashi, but people like him, and suppress information on the basis of it being misinformation. Now, when it's in America, they'll get somebody like Jonathan Greenblatt here to go out and say, hey, you're being mean. These words, using the scientific word for this virus, it's mean. How dare you, sir? How absolutely dare you? But not everybody is approaching it like Jonathan Greenblatt here. I know a lot of you must have been asking, how are juggalos approaching this situation? Well, I have the clip just for you. Some advice from the Dark Carnival itself.
Teach you a little trick right now. Everybody wants to go buy the toilet paper, the water, put on the little fucking Michael Jackson mask and whatnot. I'll show you how to defeat the Check it out. Good old-fashioned dirt snow. God made dirt. Dirt don't hurt. Take out the rocks, and then it'll build your immune system. That's how you beat the fucking system.
The thing that gets me about these Jonathan Greenblatt types, all of these people complaining about xenophobia, what gets me is they'll complain non-stop for years. How long has Jonathan Greenblatt been doing this? Years. And not once have I ever seen him do something constructive and do anything with his energy to help somebody else. It's always wagging the finger. It's always, I'm better than you, and we need to try to get somebody to punish you for not being as good as me. That's the message I get from Jonathan Greenblatt. That's the message I get from a lot of these people in the media. That because they can identify something that they don't think is okay, and let's be honest, they have a very low standard for that, but they will find something to be outraged about, and it makes them feel better about themselves. And more than that, it makes them feel better about themselves to assert their moral superiority to whoever is around them, to whoever can possibly hear them. Some of you might have seen Don Lemon's interview a couple days ago where he had a literal meltdown on his own show over a speech This guy on national television, on cable, which is playing at empty airports across the nation. You know, dozens of people are no doubt seeing this man lose his mind on TV. But I've seen people who are infamous for having meltdowns, for freaking out on the internet, and their meltdowns are tame in comparison to what I had seen on CNN with Don Lemon as he was talking to I forget who it was. You know, just for posterity, I'll go ahead and end the video with some of that clip. So enjoy yourselves, everybody. Stay safe out there. And don't let people like Jonathan Greenblatt and Don Lemon, don't let them get the best of you.
No, that's why you're here, to talk about the president's address.
Can I finish now?
No, you can't, John, because we're here to talk about the president's. Wait, we're here. I don't want you to go on and
out because there was some confusion out there. Okay.
Now there's more confusion, John.
And what look, I'm
serious and sit here and tell you 4 + 4 = 85.
John, calm down.
Listen to the woman, John.